Gravity has never taken a day off. Every second of your life, it's held you to the Earth with just the right amount of force, strong enough to keep oceans in place, yet gentle enough for birds to fly. But what if that perfect balance disappeared overnight? Imagine waking up tomorrow and every step feels impossible. Your body weighs twice as much. Birds fall from the sky. Airplanes can no longer stay airborne. Buildings begin to buckle under their own weight. Within hours, the world you've always known starts collapsing, not because of an asteroid, a war, or a virus, but because gravity became just a little stronger. So what if Earth's gravity suddenly doubled? Welcome to TheWhatLab, where we explore the biggest what-if questions in science, space, history, and the future. If you enjoy thought experiments backed by real science, you're in the right place. Let's rewind to that impossible morning, second by second. Right now, gravity holds you with a force of 9.8 meters per second squared. Now imagine that number jumping to 19.6 instantly. Your legs, calibrated to a lifetime of one weight, buckle under double the load. If you're standing, you fall. If you're walking, you collapse mid-stride, hitting the ground with twice the force you're used to. Breathing gets harder immediately. Lifting a heavier chest against a heavier world turns every breath into work. Across the planet, crashing, shelves empty, cups shatter. Anything unsecured slams down with twice the force it had a second ago. Cars swerve as suspensions compress under loads they were never built for. Drivers lose control mid-turn. An athlete, mid-jump, doesn't rise the way their body expects. They come down hard and fast. A toddler learning to stand collapses instantly, tiny bones absorbing a shock they've never felt. And for elderly people with fragile bones, this single second may be the most dangerous moment of their lives. 1 second. That's all it took to change everything. So what happens when that first second becomes the first hour? As the shock fades, a slower chaos sets in. Nothing works the way it used to. Elevator cables strain under cars now twice as heavy. Some hold, some don't, trapping people between floors. Trains need far longer to brake, and conductors fight to slow cars hauling twice their intended load. On the roads, braking doesn't work the way muscle memory expects, and accidents multiply by the minute. Factories stall as robotic arms built for precise loads suddenly can't lift what they lifted an hour ago. Hospitals face their own nightmare. Patients who could stand yesterday can't today. Nurses strain lifting them. Emergency services are stretched thin instantly. Every call the same story: falls, crashes, structural failures, cardiac events. Panic spreads faster than any broadcast could ever contain it. The honest truth is unsettling. This isn't the disaster. This is only the beginning of what doubled gravity does to a human body. To understand what's happening, we need to go inside the body. Gravity doesn't just push down on you, it pushes down on everything inside you too. Your bones are strong, but built for one job: supporting your current weight with a safety margin, not double it. Under doubled gravity, compressive force on your spine, hips, and knees doubles instantly. Old fractures and worn joints become failure points. Your muscles fight back, but tire fast. Standing still now costs the energy of carrying a second version of yourself all day. But here's where it gets really dangerous. Your heart. Blood is heavy, and your heart has always worked against gravity to reach your brain. Double gravity means double the resistance. Stand up too fast, and blood may not reach your head in time. An exaggerated, far more dangerous head rush. Circulation suffers everywhere. Blood pooling in your legs. Breathing gets harder too, as your diaphragm fights a heavier rib cage with every breath. Starved of steady blood flow, your brain may struggle with dizziness and fainting, especially under exertion. So, who has it worst? Pregnant mothers face multiplied cardiovascular strain. Infants with proportionally heavy heads and weak necks struggle just to lift their heads. and elderly people with fragile bones and weaker hearts face the greatest danger of all. Trained athletes might have a slight edge. Their bodies are already conditioned for forces beyond simple body weight. But no training prepares you for permanent double gravity. Could humans eventually adapt? Over many generations, evolution could theoretically favor shorter frames and denser bones. But that's a process measured in thousands of years, not months. Right now, survival is the only concern, and humans aren't the only ones struggling. Step outside, and the skies are falling silent. Flight means generating enough lift to overcome gravity. And when gravity doubles, the math turns brutal. Eagles may find their wingspan no longer generates enough lift to fly at all. Many large birds could be grounded entirely. Hummingbirds might fare relatively better. Their wings already beat dozens of times per second just to fight gravity and hover. But even they'd burn through energy far faster than before. Insects, surprisingly, could be the biggest survivors. Thanks to something called the square cube law, small creatures already carry far more relative strength than large ones do. Doubled gravity is catastrophic for an elephant, but barely a burden for an ant. Dogs and cats, low to the ground on 4 sturdy legs, would struggle but adapt reasonably well. Horses, carrying heavy bodies on slender legs, face serious injury risk with every stride. Elephants may be in the most danger of all. Research suggests large land animals already operate close to the structural limits of what bone can support. But here's a surprising twist. Whales might barely notice. Underwater, buoyancy counteracts weight almost perfectly because both an object's weight and the water's buoyant force scale together. Fish and deep-sea creatures, cushioned the same way, may be among the least affected animals on the entire planet. On land, evolution's usual size advantage flips upside down. The biggest creatures become the most vulnerable. The smallest become surprisingly resilient. So, what happens to the machines we built to conquer sky and land alike? Flight didn't just get harder. It may have just ended for now. Lift depends heavily on speed, and to generate double the lift needed for double the weight, planes would need to fly roughly 40% faster just to leave the ground. Most runways and most engines simply aren't built for that. Helicopters face an even tougher fight, relying entirely on rotor power with no forward speed to help. Many designs could become dangerously underpowered overnight. Lightweight drones may lose the ability to hover at all. But what about reaching space itself? Escape velocity, the speed needed to break free of Earth's pull, would rise by roughly 40%. That means far more fuel, more powerful engines, and dramatically less cargo capacity per launch. Space exploration wouldn't necessarily stop, but it would become slower and vastly more expensive. Cars grip the road harder under added weight, but suspensions, brakes, and engines built for normal loads would wear out and fail far more often. Motorcycles become significantly more dangerous to ride. High-speed trains might fare best of all. Without needing lift, they mainly face added structural stress, a far more manageable problem than what aviation is up against. And ships? Here's a surprising fact. Because buoyancy scales alongside gravity, ships might barely change how deep they sit in the water. The ocean could remain one of the most stable places left on Earth. But what about the buildings and bridges humanity built to defy gravity in the first place? Every skyscraper, bridge, and dam on Earth was built around a hidden number, a safety factor. Extra strength engineers added in case something unexpected happened. Doubled gravity is exactly the kind of unexpected event nobody designed for. Skyscrapers suddenly carry twice their intended dead weight, straining foundations and joints built with specific margins in mind. Bridges support dramatically more tension, pushing towers and cables toward their absolute limits. Dams might be the most dangerous story of all. Water pressure, against a dam wall doubles instantly, and older dams risk catastrophic failure. A genuinely alarming thought for everyone living downstream. Ordinary houses risk sagging or collapsing roofs. Roads crumble faster under heavier vehicles than any maintenance crew could keep up with. Power lines sag under their own added weight, and water systems strain as pumps fight to lift water upward, the same battle now happening inside every human heart. Would famous landmarks survive? Surprisingly, it's a mixed story. Older structures, often overbuilt by necessity, might hold up better than expected. Ironically, some of our newest, most material-efficient buildings could be at the greatest risk of all. Cities wouldn't collapse instantly or completely, but cracks would appear everywhere. And it's not just our creations under pressure. The planet itself is about to change too. Nature runs on gravity just as much as human engineering does. Mountains have a maximum possible height, limited by how much weight rock can support before crushing itself. And rockfalls would become far more common. Rivers and waterfalls would accelerate, hitting harder and carving through rock and soil faster than ever. Ocean waves would move roughly 40% faster, crashing onto coastlines with far more destructive energy. Interestingly, tides wouldn't change much at all. They're driven mainly by the moon and sun, not Earth's own surface gravity. The waves are a different story. Even rain would fall faster and hit harder. Cloud formation and broader weather patterns would likely shift too, since atmospheric convection is tied to gravity, though exactly how remains genuinely uncertain. And slopes once stable could suddenly give way, making landslides far more frequent. One clarification: gravity doesn't directly cause earthquakes. Those come from stress built up between tectonic plates. But over centuries, doubled gravity could gradually shift stress patterns within Earth's crust. Volcanoes, too, might shift slowly. Over a geological timescale, the planet wouldn't transform overnight, but it would begin a slow, permanent shift into something new. Is there any silver lining hiding in all this chaos? Doubled gravity wouldn't be purely destructive. Given enough time, it might even make us stronger. Research using centrifuges to simulate high gravity has shown that bodies exposed to increased gravitational force can build denser, stronger bone. Engineering would be forced to evolve too, and fast. New materials, new techniques, and reimagined architecture could emerge from pure necessity, the same way crises have always accelerated human innovation. Expect rapid development of wearable exoskeletons built to help human muscles bear the extra load, technology that, interestingly, already exists in early forms today. Scientific understanding of gravity and biology would explode almost overnight, and evolution itself would become a real-time experiment as every species on Earth, including us, faced pressure to adapt or disappear. But would any of this actually be enough to save civilization as we know it? Let's fast forward and see what's actually left standing. 1 year in, chaos gives way to something more manageable. Emergency systems adapt, infrastructure gets urgent repairs, new safety codes emerge almost overnight. But the human cost from that first chaotic stretch is immense. 50 years on, the world looks genuinely different. Cities favor shorter, wider buildings over towering skyscrapers. Exoskeletons and mobility aids become as common as smartphones. Sports transform completely. Imagine high jump records cut roughly in half, and entirely new sports built around the physical realities of double gravity. Air travel becomes a rare, expensive luxury, replaced largely by high-speed rail. Push into hundreds of years, and something more remarkable unfolds. If humanity survived that long, natural selection could gradually favor shorter, stockier bodies, denser bones, and stronger cardiovascular systems built from countless small advantages passed down, generation after generation. Would we become a physically stronger species? Quite possibly, yes. Would we look the same as we do today? Almost certainly not. Civilization wouldn't just survive doubled gravity. Given enough time, it might be completely reshaped by it. Which brings us to the question this whole video has been building toward. So, would humanity actually survive if gravity suddenly doubled? In the short term, the honest answer is brutal. Yes, but at a devastating cost. Planes would fall from the sky. Buildings and bridges would fail. Countless lives would be lost within the first days alone. Would civilization completely collapse? Almost certainly not. Human adaptability, accumulated engineering knowledge, and sheer stubborn will to survive would carry us through the worst of the initial chaos. Would we eventually adapt? The evidence strongly suggests yes, slowly, painfully, but surely across generations through smarter engineering and quite possibly gradual evolutionary change. Humanity has survived ice ages, mass extinctions, and global catastrophes before, armed with nothing more than sheer adaptability. Doubled gravity would be an entirely new kind of enemy, but not necessarily an unbeatable one. So maybe the real miracle isn't that gravity exists, it's that it's almost perfectly balanced, a little weaker, and life as we know it would drift apart, a little stronger, and civilization could collapse under its own weight. Sometimes, the smallest changes create the biggest consequences. Thanks for watching TheWhatLab. If you enjoyed exploring this impossible question, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. What impossible what if should we explore next? Until next time, keep asking the impossible.